Alright guys, this is Unit 1 Formative 2, day number 7, and here we're talking about literal equations. So what we mean by literal equations is like formulas. So we're going to see a few that we might be familiar with, maybe a few we're not. Let's try some. Okay, we look at number 1 here. This says A equals B times C times D. Okay, so it also asks us to solve for C. Okay, so when it asks us to solve for a variable, remember that means we have to get it by itself. Now what's happening with our C right now? It's being multiplied by B and D. Okay, so to undo multiplication, we know we have to use division. So if I divide by my capital B and my lowercase d here, on this side I know I have to do it on both sides. So I'll do it to this side also. And since they're just letters on my left side, that's just going to be left as A over B times D. And on my right side, my B's and my D's cancel here. Okay, so I'm just left with C. Now my C is by itself, and therefore I'm done. That's all they want for this. Alright, the second one says M equals N minus P, and we're solving for N here. Okay, so again we have to get N by itself. And what's going on between our N and our P? Well, it's being subtracted, so we need to add our P to both sides to get rid of it. Okay, and it does get rid of on that side, so we're just left with an N over here. And then on our left side we just have M plus P. Okay, and that is the answer there. Okay, our third one, this is actually the volume formula for a cone. So we have volume equals 1/3 length times width. And it's asking us to solve for L here. Okay, so again we need to get our L by itself. So when we do that, we notice first that this one has a number in it. So we want to get rid of that number first, and to do that here we have 1 over 3, so that's actually being divided by 3. So we need to multiply by 3 on both sides to get rid of our 1/3. Okay, so we'll have 3v on our left side, and our 1/3 and our 3 will cancel, and we're left with L times W on our right side. And to get our L by itself, since it's being multiplied by W, we need to divide by W on both sides here. And we're just left with 3v over W equals, well, our W is canceled, so we just have L left, and that's exactly what we want, and that is our answer. Okay, this next one, it might be hard for you to read, but I'll read it for you. It says polar astrospheric clouds are colorful clouds that form when temperatures fall below -78 degrees Celsius. What happens, or what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? The formula for temperature is Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius temperature plus 32. So let me write this one out. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 the temperature in Celsius, or C, plus 32. And they also gave us that our Celsius temperature is -78 degrees here. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just going to be plugging in that -78 for C, because what we want to do is solve for F. Remember it says what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? So since our F is already by itself, I just have to plug in my -78. So let's try that. I'm going to leave F as F. We have 9/5 times -78 plus 32. Okay, now if I remember my order of operations, what I'm going to do first is take my 9/5 times my -78. And when I do that, I get a -140, -140.4. -140.4 plus 32. Okay, I cheated, I did use a calculator, so that's okay. Now, my Fahrenheit, when I add those two together, will equal -108.4 degrees. Okay, so that is our answer for this one. Okay, our last one showed up a little bit better than the previous one. It says, what is the length of a rectangle with a width of 10 inches and an area of 45 inches squared? Remember, the area of a rectangle is A equals BH area equals base times height. I'm going to switch this to area equals length times width, since ours is talking about width here. Okay, same thing, base height, length, width, doesn't matter. So it asks us what is the length. We're solving for, what do you think? That's right, the L. L is length in this case. And it gives us a few different things here. So it gives us that our width is 10 inches and the area is 45 inches squared. So in our formula, our A comes first. So I'm going to replace my A with 45 inches squared. And that's going to equal L, L, because we don't know what our L is yet. And then our width, it says, was 10, so times 10 inches right there. Okay, now to solve for L, I need to divide by my 10 inches, divide by 10 inches. Now a couple things to point out here. First off, 45 divided by 10 is 4.5. And then inches squared divided by inches is just inches. Okay, if you had something like x squared over x, that will just give us x. So that's a side note. You can just trust me on that one. And then on my right side of my equation, my 10 inches will cancel and just left with my length. So my length here is 4.5 inches. Okay, that is it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.